In this LensVid Talk, we're looking at batteries, cameras, more cameras, and spatial computing video editing. Stick around.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, y'all.
Hello, Art.
How you doing?
And we're doing LensVid Talk 16 today.
That's right. In a new setting.
A new setting, yeah. We're trying something a little bit different. Hopefully, it will turn out well. And we have a lot of topics, as usual. Let's start with some things that we're currently testing, or we're just starting to test because we only got them. The first one is the KMTV new batteries, the V-mounts.
Right.
Let me show them. This is the 50 watt-hour version. It's kind of small.
I was hoping they were small. They looked a lot thinner in the videos or whatever on their website. Still, I mean, great looking battery. Not that it's important how it looks, but it has a bunch of different ports, connections, a real nice menu screen. It's just the first impression for now.
Yeah.
We have the 99 and the 50.
It has all sorts of connections on the top. You have USB-C, USB-A, 12 volts, and 8.4, as well as a DTAP on one of the sides. So these are all, and obviously you have all the information on the screen, like watt hour, milliamps, of course the battery like status, or
not only how much battery, but how much longer it'll power whatever's connected to it.
This is something that we need to test.
Yeah, that's how accurate
we just took it out of the box. But what is interesting, as far as I can tell, is that I think it should be not powered, but the USB-C is also charging the battery, which is like super, super important. This was like a dream a couple of years ago, and now there are a few of them. I think ZG Cine and SmallRig all have these small batteries which are chargeable via USB-C instead of like a charger.
Should it be as fast as a regular charger?
Not sure. Probably not, but we'll see. We will test it, and
this will reveal that secret.
The second thing that we actually used yesterday, we had a shoot, basically a continuation of a previous shoot, and we used the Accsoon S60 slider.
Right.
I actually used it most of the time just to shoot some BTS and, just to test it basically. And it worked really, really well.
I was surprised. It didn't look like much. It looks pretty simple, actually. It's a 60 centimeter slider. They also have a 40, I think, right? A metal frame with a belt drive, but my beef with sliders is always like the ends. I don't remember using any small portable slider that is dampened enough on the ends where you don't have to cut out those end shots
when you're doing the reflection.
Right. If it's going back and forth, right? And this one was really soft landing on both sides. That was the first time that we tried it, but it was
how they did it, but it's buttery smooth. The movement on the slider itself is also very smooth, even if in the fastest speed, which is not like super fast, but it was very, very smooth.
Right.
So kudos to them on that, and there will be a review, obviously.
Yeah, it's coming in.
Let's start talking about some actual news that happened in the past couple of weeks. We have the Hasselblad 907X and also a new, which is basically a new camera, a new medium format camera.
100 megapixel.
But actually I think the camera itself is like, it's just the body, I think.
Right.
And then they have like the CFV100C medium format back, which you can put on other like medium format Hasselblad cameras. So that's an interesting combination. What I took from that is, I mean, they had the 50 megapixel version, they have the 100. First of all, the interface looks really nice. Hasselblad always has this in their digital cameras, like really nice interfaces, much better than Sony or Canon. Or I know that. Well, they're Swedish, so they know how to make usable, nice interfaces. but I think more to the point, it's really, really small. It's like a tiny camera.
Yeah.
Even with a digital back and everything, it's really small. I think I've seen on some videos people using the new digital back with the cameras, with one of the Hasselblads, I don't remember the model, which you can look, we always...
The range finder. Yeah.
Exactly. We keep talking about that, which you can look like downwards and like look at the image like this, which I really like. You know, I always felt like it's an interesting way of shooting. It's like, I mean, it's not good for everything, but you know, for some stuff like landscape or even like street photography, pretty cool. So that's that. I don't have the pricing. I'll put it in the article.
Around $9,000 for the camera, plus I think the whole package is about $13,000. Plus they have obviously, I don't know if new lenses came out with this one, but what I found interesting, I didn't know this about the Hasselblad. Hasselblad can feel free to send us one to It's a beautiful camera. I like the aesthetics. It comes with this hand grip. It's a electronic hand grip. It has controls on it. Some people are saying that it's not the most ergonomic thing to use, but the look of it is great. It's vintage, but it's like futuristic at the same time.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't know that it has an internal memory, a terabyte of internal memory.
But on this one, not on there. I'm not
right.
Sure
I'm not sure if previous ones, but that's great. Like, why wouldn't you at this point?
I think it's still. I think it still has one memory card.
Yeah, it still has a slot for a memory card.
CF Express Type B or something.
Type B, something like that. Yeah. But no, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like at this point, why wouldn't we do that in every camera?
Sony or Canon or whoever. I know. No reason actually. Okay, so that's the Hasselblad camera and back. Now let's talk about RED. They have 2 new cameras. So we have a lot of cameras on this one. So they have the V-RAPTOR 8K VVX, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and the V-RAPTOR XL 8K VVX.
Right.
Okay, so what's new about them?
Well, the VVX is a new global shutter sensor, and I don't know if it's the same. It looks like it's the same sensor in the 2 cameras. They're different bodies. One is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ports. And,
XL.
Right. XL is the... They also have... I mean, these are the highest level. They have, like, RED now has a bunch of global shutter cameras. And I guess that's a big indicator of where the industry is going.
This one, from what I remember, was an APS-C, and this is a full frame.
So they're talking about some really interesting, not just the camera itself, but the technology in the camera. For virtual productions, global shutter is very important for virtual production. But now this camera is actually doing 2 streams. I think it's the XL one. It can record the virtual screen and also replace that virtual screen with a green screen. So for redundancy and for safety, like a safety track. So it's interesting.
But what I've seen, the only thing that popped out to me besides the global shutter, obviously, is the 17 stop of dynamic range.
Right.
So it means that even though you have the global shutter, you don't lose the dynamic range. Not sure about the noise level. That will be interesting to see, after people will actually go testing it. Because there have been some talk about the noise level of the Sony A9 Mark III, which also has a global shutter and it's a full frame. And so that will be interesting. We have to talk about the price. These are the highest end. It's 8K 120 frames per second. So it's nice.
It's a crazy sense.
And I think, 4K 240, something like that?
Probably, yeah.
Actually, this whole thing, I mean, we are not in this level. It's not our territory. Have you ever shot on a RED?
Never shot on a RED. These are... I mean, like, they have simpler cameras. You can you can get a $10,000 RED camera.
Sure.
These are like the highest level is like $45,000.
The highest end, the bigger.
Right. The smaller one's like
25,
around 25.
something like that. Yeah.
And I mean, it's not just the camera. Like it would be overkill to take this camera on a regular shoot.
The problem usually with Reds is that in terms of like pricing and building the stuff is that there is a lot of proprietary things with Red, and a lot of it is basically unique. It's not just the camera. Okay, you bought a camera. Now you need all the accessories, and most of them, usually now there are third-party ones, but a lot of them are Red accessories, and they're very expensive. So, okay.
And they came out with a new viewfinder for this one, which is also like a few $1,000s. It's like when you put it all together,
with Red, everything is a few $1,000s. Yeah. I remember. I think Marquez Brandley, MKBHD, he used to shoot. Still, I'm not sure. Shoot with Reds, and he show a breakdown of I think Linus also at some point shot with Linus from Linus Tech Tips, also shot with Reds, and they did a breakdown of like how much each component cost, and it's like nuts.
Right.
Look, there are a lot of rental houses which rent them, so that's a different path.
It makes sense for a high-end production.
Yeah, of course.
These cameras can do that. It's something that no other camera can do. You can't pull it off. Like, I mean, virtual production, global shutters. There's just 8K
I don't
sensor.
have experience with Reds versus, let's say, Alexas or things like something like that, so I can't really comment. Or for that matter, for Sony Venice, I
mean, it's a whole other type of
it's not
workflow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's different. Anyway, so these are the two V-RAPTOR 8K VVX Red cameras. OM Systems has a new camera. So we said there are a lot of new cameras. OM Systems is basically a company that replaced Olympus or purchased the division from Olympus, the camera division. I'm still thinking about them as Olympus, basically. And they have the OM1 Mark II. So I've watched some videos, like I think Chris and Jordan from Petapixel did a review of this camera. They were kind of like okay with the camera, but from what I got from what they were talking about is that for the most part, this is very similar to the original version. There are some differences in the dials and things like that, but for the most part, the changes are, I think, more software than hardware. And, they were asking, like, why didn't they just do a firmware update to the original camera? But, you need to make money, so...
How long ago was the original?
I don't have... I don't know. I'll write it in the comments, or in the screen, but I'm not sure.
Because I don't remember when they changed from Olympus to OM.
Oh, no.
It's been a while, right?
That's
so if it's like a really long coming update, then...
Yeah, probably at least 2 years. I don't know. Well, I'll check. But anyway, this is a Stack CMOS IP53. So all the cameras are usually waterproof or water resistant to some degree. 8.5 stops of image stabilization in camera. That's nuts.
Well, it's a small sensor.
Yeah.
So it's easier.
They always had very, very good image stabilization. Remember, like, I've been to somebody who used to shoot with Olympus in Photokina way back. And I played with it, and the image stabilization was insane. Like, way better than the Sony of today. But as you said, it's a small sensor, so it's easier. Also, it has internal ND for stills, not for video, but for stills. That's interesting. I mean, it's like, I'm guessing, like a digital.
Yeah, probably digital. Because I mean, if it were there physically, then why?
Yeah.
What would be the limitation between stills and video?
No. And lots of AI stuff. So improvements in all sorts of like autofocus tracking and stacking and all sorts of other things which are called AI software, basically. So that's the OM1 Mark II.
Yeah.
Now these are the cameras, the new cameras. Now let's talk about something from Zoom,
the recorder
manufacturer. Yeah, exactly. Not the
other Zoom.
Not the other Zoom. Yeah. No. So the Japanese recording or music instrumentation. How would you call it?
With the company?
Recording.
The recorder?
Yeah.
A recorder. Yeah, XLR recorder.
Exactly. So they have a new series. It's called
Essential.
H Essential, something like that. So they're all 32-bit, which is cool, 32-bit float. And they have 3 units. So the first one, I think, is just a 3.5 millimeter connection. It has like capsules on the recorder itself. The second one has 2 XLRs, and the third one, like the bigger one, has 4 XLRs. I think that you can also, it has capsules on the top. I think I read that you can remove them and put 2 other XLRs. I'm not sure, but you at least have 4. So that's nice. I mean, everybody's moving to 32-bit float. I mean, if you can put it on a small, yeah. The thing is that I've read from other people who are more into like audio that they're saying that, you know, the fact that it's 32-bit float is, yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't necessarily mean that obviously it's a good recorder. It can still be pretty crappy 32-bit.
It's like 4K on a small sensor and a 4K on a huge sensor. It's very different, right? Yeah. Phone sensor or like a medium format, not the same thing.
I think it's more
I'm not sure.
Dynamic range,
right?
Yeah, but then resolution,
physics, like the sound, the physics of sound is still, plays still a big role, right? So you can't. Like the microphone has a lot to do with it, and
a lot of but I still think, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, for studio recording you don't need 32-bit float. That's true in a sense, but sometimes, I mean, my voice, I'm editing these videos, and my voice tends to go from pretty low to pretty high. And that's kind of problematic because it means that, you know, you need to set the gain to pretty low because you don't want to like
peak
it, and then it's low for a lot of the other like parts of the audio. So you need to use compression. I don't know if 32-bit float will be. Maybe it will actually be useful.
It should be useful
for voices which tend to change like the how would you call it? The
amplitude?
The amplitude quite a bit.
Or frequency? No,
the amplitude.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever, yeah. You got the point. So that's the Zoom H Essential series, basically. What else do we have? Oh, this is interesting. Sony released, but as far as I know, it's only in Japan.
And all the videos in Japanese.
I think
I didn't make much of it.
But maybe it will come later on. I mean, they started with I think they had this quadcopter. Yeah, I think the drone.
Sony?
So yeah, Sony has a drone.
I missed it.
A couple of years ago. It started, I think, only in Japan, but if I'm not mistaken, they started bringing it either to, I think they started with the US and then Europe. I'm not sure. But anyway, this one, as far as I can tell, is only in Japan for now. It's called the Sony PDT-FP1.
Beautiful name.
Fantastic. Good choice of naming Sony.
Yeah.
So it's a portable data transmitter, basically. And what this means is it's a 6.1 inch monitor that you put on your camera. It connects to the camera, I think, via, if I'm not mistaken, HDMI. And basically it has a 5G transmitter inside, like a phone.
Right.
So instead of using your phone, and Sony has, you can buy Xperia, which you can connect to your camera, and then you can do like live shooting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It basically replaces that with a dedicated unit, which is kind of cool, I guess. I mean, we talked about this before. I don't really like to use the phone all the time as a monitor. I mean, you can use it on occasion, but to use it for a long time for live streaming, for example, if you need to use your phone at the same time, if somebody calls you, all sorts of problems that can occur.
Exactly. It's like I would buy the Xperia, for example, just to use as the monitor. Like I wouldn't actually use it as a phone because it's more of that than this. A phone is a phone, you know.
I worked with one of the Xperias that belonged to my wife because my phone died until I got my Pixel 8 Pro now, which is actually pretty good. And I didn't really like it. I didn't like the form factor. It was like narrow and long. I didn't like the screen. And the phone itself was kind of quirky. I don't know. It's a strange phone. It's not. I mean, it's personal preference, obviously, but I don't know. This is supposed to be like $1,000. This unit. So it's okay. I mean,
For a monitor,
yeah.
I'm
not sure how good the monitor is. Hopefully, they know how to make monitors. Not for the cameras, sadly, but but yeah. So that's still in Japan. I don't know. Maybe it will come to US and Europe later on. We have, talking about monitors, Desview has a 7-inch, it's called R7SIII, 7-inch monitor. And the interesting thing about this one is, because there are a million of those, it's a 1080p monitor. It's 2800 nits, which is kind of nuts.
It's pretty bright.
It's very bright.
I'm not sure. I think I'm using also Desview 7-inch. I think it's 2600 nits.
How much?
2600.
Oh, really?
It's very bright.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's, I mean, middle of...
You can work in the middle of the day outdoors.
Yeah, no hood needed. You can see everything. It's touch screen. I just don't like the interface. It's like, it's not... You tap and then you don't know if you're going to get the response that you need. It has this menu that you kind of tap on, like you tap it, it comes on the screen. It's not amazing. The screen itself, the panel is good. It's plastic. It's missing some...
I think that's one of the biggest differentiators between like a lot of the companies today. It's not the hardware so much. It's the software of the screens, of the monitors.
Because at this point, it's kind of easy to replicate the hardware.
Yeah.
But the software is like Hasselblad. You know what? I think you're paying for that experience a lot.
I think
same thing here.
I don't know if you played with the small. We have a small HD monitor in the studio, and that's even I think the old operating system. They improved it quite considerably, and that's a good operating system. But
also the port keys.
The port keys, I think the new one, the one that we played with in IBC last year. Yeah.
That one is pretty amazing. I work with a guy that has that one on a Sony FX3. It's touch to focus. It's not as bright. It's only, I think, 1,000 nits, but does the job. I mean, and the operating system
is like outdoor in the shade, I would say.
So it's great for that, just the touch to focus. This one, I wonder. I missed that spec there. If it is a touch screen, but I don't know if it has a touch to focus compatibility.
I don't think so.
I don't know how they do.
Control is pretty. I wouldn't say unique to port keys, but they're, I think, one of the only companies that really push this.
It's great though.
Why? Because I think every company needs it. But
what was that? A Godox monitor that
it didn't work.
It has special cables, special proprietary connectors, and it never worked. This one, nothing. HDMI in, touch to focus, beautiful. I wonder if they're trying to do it with this one. I mean,
you're talking about this
Desview, right? I mean, why is it a new one? They already have one.
I didn't know that yours has so high brightness. Maybe there are other features which I'm not aware of. Basically, what surprised me about this monitor and why I included this.
I have it right here.
Okay. Look at what's the model number?
First of all, Desview. No pins.
RE pinholes.
Come on, that needs to be standard by now. I don't know if it looks the same. It's very similar. It has 3 custom buttons.
The naming, because on the front it's Best View. It's the same company, but it's kind of I never got that.
HDMI in, HDMI out.
Best View 20.
That one's actually really nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a pretty unique monitor because it has 4 HDMI inputs, which is kind of. I mean, there are a lot of monitors with 4 SDIs. but not a lot with 4 HDMIs, and this is why we actually bought it, and it's kind of useful. But what's the name of this monitor? Doesn't say in the back.
Well, it's tiny. We'll put it on the screen. R7 II.
So this is the R7 III.
Okay.
So probably a few like smaller tweaks and improvements. I
don't know what to show. It's just the screen.
It's just the screen.
Yeah. Okay. It's nice. I like it, but we can work on the RE pins and the interface.
And the interface. Anyway, so the reason why I included this was that this is only $300.
Yeah, this one was about the same.
This is not a lot of money for a 7-inch 2800 nits. That's nuts. I know.
The reason I also have
they also have an SDI version. This is just HDMI.
Yeah,
it costs like $100 more.
Right. The reason 7-inch is important on these monitors is because when you put up all the assist tools, your preview screen is a lot smaller. So on a 5-inch,
what I would do is probably have a different aspect ratio, and then you can put all the information not on the image,
right?
And that would solve all the problems. But
exactly,
they don't.
That's why maybe an Xperia going back, right? And an Xperia with its really wide, aspect ratio.
But the screen is like. It feels like squashed.
Right, but I mean, but that would be the way to go. Like, if this were a long panel,
I would actually do it in a different way. I would do it with a 4:3 monitor instead of a whatever narrow monitor. I don't know. So that's the Desview R7 III.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about SmallRig. They have a new product. It's called the Fluid Head PH8. And this one is, from what they're saying, like a 30% smaller than other heads. I'm not sure what other heads means exactly.
Well, they have a few new tripods. I guess they come with heads.
I don't think that they're referring.
Or like competitors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's one. It's 8 kilogram payload, which is fine, and 6 steps of counterbalance, which is nice. I would definitely like to test this.
Yeah.
We just finished yesterday. I think we published the review of the YC Onion Pinata tripod and their head.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah. No, the tripod is fantastic.
It is. Absolutely.
You tested it. Yeah. The head. My feeling is that the current one, it's called FH75.
Yeah.
I think it belongs to like a much lesser level of tripod.
Yeah, the head is too small for the sticks. Like, the sticks can carry 35 kilos, and the head can carry 8 or 10. I think
it's not just the payload.
Exactly. Like, it needs more features. It's a very simple head.
Very basic.
It has fluid pan and tilt, but.
This SmallRig one is much. It has 6 counterbalance on the tilt, and then more in the pan. It has like a lot of drag control, and it has a lot of features. Basically I wouldn't call it like super high end, but step up basically from the other one. So we'll talk to them and see if we can get it. And finally, we have something interesting. You're a Mac user. We always talk about you being a Mac, I'm being a PC guy. And Apple obviously have I think that nobody missed that because there are so many reviews.
Ton of videos.
Yeah. So and then we're talking about the Apple Vision Pro.
Right.
The VR, AR.
They're not calling it VR.
Okay, whatever. No, it's not VR.
Spatial computing goggles is what they call it.
More AR than VR because you can actually see like really cool image of what you're looking at, of the room or whatever with them, and a videographer, a cinematographer called Michael Tobin. Yeah, he did an interesting video reviewing them because everybody reviewed the thing, but he did it from the perspective of a video editor,
right?
And that's interesting. And he was actually really, really impressed, I think, by this. He did it like a week after it was released. So it was like straight after the announcement or the actual product availability. And what he did in the video, I'll show a small segment and you can watch the entire thing on YouTube. He basically removed his monitors and tried for a couple of days, I know, to only work with Vision Pro. Now, it's still, at this point, very limited in what you can do. For example, you can't really work, I think, on Premiere.
Right.
I think. And even on the VidSheet.
Because it has its own apps or something. You can use it as like a screen mirroring thing.
I'm not even sure. Can you use it as a screen mirroring with Premiere?
Well, that's what I'm not sure what the limitation is. Like,
I'm not sure either.
So he uses in his video he uses the he edits on DaVinci, and DaVinci has an app for the iPad, right? So basically, it's an iPad interface, and he does the whole thing, the moves, the tracks.
The whole thing boils down
drags to the timeline.
Don't have touch capabilities.
Yeah.
If they had them, then there would be far less problems. I don't understand how in 2024 there are no touch-capable iMacs. Like almost all PC, like not all, but I would say 50% plus are touch-capable. So they're all, like Windows is touch-capable, but the laptops themselves, I know it's kind of strange. But to the point, he was impressed, I think.
It's a great concept having a virtual screen that's just as big as you want it to be. You don't have to sit there on the laptop looking at the tiny little screen. And it mirrors, and you can use the hardware of the laptop, whatever, and have the big screen, and you can turn to the side and have an extra screen there. It is really nice.
I think from the video, I'm not sure. Again, I didn't play with it myself, but from what I've seen is that at the moment, you can't really do like multi-monitor setups. And I don't really understand why. What's the limitation? Like computing power or what exactly? Because the way if I would create this device, this like the Vision Pro for PC, whatever, I would probably allow it to have like 20 monitors, whatever. Like I'm working with 3 monitors. I would easily work with 5 or 6.
Right.
So you can have like a monitor for like only for editing. So you have the timeline, and then you have the tools, and then you have the preview, and then you have another preview, and why not?
Well, Vision Pro as an interface does have that capability that you can have your YouTube screen here.
The software itself can split into...
Right. DaVinci, I don't know what DaVinci is doing. As much as I love the interface and all the functionality, the dual screen option sucks.
Oh, really?
It's glitchy. It's like it may work fine for a while, and then it glitches out, and then you have to remove
I have some issues with some stuff in Premiere. Not exactly dual monitor, but for example, it doesn't save. I have like how do you call it? The layout. It doesn't save it. I have my own like preset. It doesn't save it correctly. I read that other people have this issue as well, and for years and they don't fix it. I don't know why.
I don't know. There is software out there with amazing layout functionality like Blender. You can move anything anywhere, and it just works. I don't know how hard it is for others to do. But so if it's glitchy in the standard program or
on this
software,
it will probably be yeah, okay. But watch the video. Watch his review. It's interesting if you're interested in this technology.
Once we can hook it up to an HDMI from camera and have the screen shoot with the Vision Pro on.
I have one issue with this whole concept, and the fact that like all the privacy stuff, it basically like scans your eye movement all the time. I don't want this on on the cloud. That's not especially not from Apple, but actually it wouldn't change. Like if Google or Microsoft would have done that, I wouldn't want them to have this information either. So, Anna, but to each his own. Anyway, I think this is everything that we have for you for today, and I think we're done. You can read all the links, all the videos, and everything that we talked about in the article on LensVid. So don't forget
the website.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.